Welcome to another episode on red light therapy and its effects on the body. Today, we are covering a very critical topic, and that is irradiance versus time. One of the most common questions I get is, what irradiance level should I use and for how long? This is a very loaded question. It's like asking, hey, I'm trying to lose weight, what diet plan should I use? You know what the answer will be. Every person is different with different metabolisms and athletic abilities. You need one tailored to you specifically. Suggesting a red light therapy dose is no different. It's body dependent. Instead of giving you an exact recipe, I'll explain how irradiance in the form of intensity and time impact ATP production. From there, you choose the balance between session time and irradiance values that suits your body best. Now, you may be saying, how the hell am I supposed to figure that out? I believe that once you understand the relationship between red light and ATP production, you'll be able to look at your body and make a good estimation. Certainly better than these cookie cutter dose protocols that come with some of these equipment being sold out there. It blows my mind that they think a person with 0% body fat weighing in at 100 pounds should get the same protocol as a 300-pound person with 50% body fat, simply because they want both muscle repair, which seems to be a common mode on these things. Okay, like all my other videos, I need to set the stage so you can better understand the impact of both of these concepts. If you have watched my other videos, here's what we know now. IR, and near infrared light, commonly labeled as red light, increases ATP production simply by thinning the fluid within the cell or creating intercellular melatonin. You choose the camp you believe in. There's no secret sauce in all these different wavelengths that these manufacturers put out there. Different wavelengths simply allow the light to travel to different depths of the body and thin the cellular fluid of the cells at that level. And finally, the goal of red light therapy is to thin the fluid or create melatonin in as many cells as possible. This screams jack up the intensity, right? I say wrong. Let me explain why. To understand the importance of intensity, you need to understand how this thinning of the cellular fluid or increased intercellular melatonin helps ATP production. We use the analogy of a wheel turning in a cell, and it will turn faster if the fluid is thinner. Okay, this is just an analogy. What the thinning of the cellular fluid really does is allow a cascading chain reaction to occur faster. I like to think of it as a series of waterfalls where each waterfall represents the next sequence in this ATP production cycle. And thinning this water allows more water to flow over each falls and speeds up the process. Of course, this is yet another analogy, but for me, biological chemical chain reactions make more sense to me than a wheel turning like a mouse in a cage. Regardless of the analogy you like, all you need to know is the byproduct of this process is the production of reactive oxygen species, which are the bad guys. Well, not totally bad, but they need to be expelled from the cell as soon as possible. Additionally, the ATP production process does not take the same amount of time in all cells. The fundamental chemical steps are the same as cellular respiration is universal. However, the speed and efficiency vary based on the cell type. This means the concentration of reactive oxygen species is different depending on the cell type. The good news here is red light is absorbed by cellular fluid and the cytochrome C oxidase, enhancing its ability to neutralize reactive oxygen species. Melatonin too neutralizes this reactive oxygen species, and according to Zimmerman, intercellular melatonin is created from this same red light. You have to get the reactive oxygen species, guys, out of there, and red light therapy aids in this process. But there's an issue. The ATP cycle or cellular respiration is a complex process that involves several steps that must happen in succession to complete the cycle. This is the most critical piece of the video. Let me drill down on this to better explain. In short, if the ATP cycle starts with ATP losing a phosphate molecule, releasing energy to become ADP, and then gaining one back again to become ATP again, this cycle cannot be altered or any steps skipped. In this multi-step process, the slowest step becomes the overall speed of the complex process. You can't go faster than the slowest part. You really have to stop and soak that fact in. You can't go faster than the slowest part. Okay, so you say, yeah, we get it, but what does this have to do with intensity? Okay, so follow me on this. Regardless if you are in the Jeffrey camp of thinning the fluid for the pump to turn faster, or the Zimmerman camp of intercellular melatonin, both camps agree that the outcome is to assist this ATP cycle by speeding up one of the steps in the process. The step of removing reactive oxygen species faster. It does not speed up any of the other steps. So if one step, say the step where the third phosphate molecule breaks off, takes more time than the amount of time it takes for the red light to aid in the removal of reactive oxygen species, well then you can easily have a case where you have more cells with no reactive oxygen species because the red light did its job and helped remove it faster than it was being generated. If you are following me, this means you can have too much red light. All of the reaction oxygen species are gone, but the cells are still absorbing the energy which gets translated into heat, and this now becomes counterproductive. Let's take this concept one step further in the form of an example. Let's use the same exact individual for the example. Let's say it's a football quarterback who's just came off the field from Super Bowl 26, where he got beat up pretty bad. He gave it his all, used all the energy he had, his tank is empty. This translates into his cells must be overloaded with reactive oxygen species. You know, the byproducts generated in the act of getting his ass kicked. Anyway, he jumps into his favorite red light therapy bed and turns it on. The odds of that light cleaning out the reactive oxygen species faster than the other steps produce it is not likely, regardless of what intensity he puts this bed on. Let's take the same quarterback. This time he is on injured reserve for 6 weeks because he tore his shoulder. And he doesn't do anything but lie around the house waiting for this thing to heal. He is bored, goes to bed early, sleeps late, and when he wakes, he goes to his favorite red light therapy bed to do a 30-minute session that has been recommended to him by his doctor. This time, his cells are empty of reactive oxygen species. He has had all night for his melatonin to clean out his cells, and he has done no real work to create any new guys that his cells can't naturally get rid of. What do you think is going on with that red light now? Increasing the intensity is only going to heat up the cellular fluid faster while creating no real benefits to the ATP cycle. Same guy, two different intensity needs. Okay, so now we know intensity does not fit all. What about time? Well, before we get to that, we need to go back to our quarterback example and see if adjusting the intensity will fix this problem with the need for two different intensities. If you watch my other videos, you will know that intensity is important for mass cellular absorption. Wavelength tells you how deep the light can go, but intensity tells you how many cells can absorb the light at that depth. An easy way of understanding this is think of light photons as marbles, and each cell can hold a maximum of 100 marbles. If your bed shot out 100 marbles at 940 nanometers, this means only one cell at that depth 940 penetrates will absorb those marbles. To get nearby cells to absorb some of these marbles, you need to send out more marbles. And this is done by increasing the intensity. That means to me, never decrease the intensity. You want as many cells to get all the 100 marbles as possible. Now I know what you are thinking, but wait, just a minute ago I said if the quarterback does not have any reactive oxygen species in his cells, high intensity is not needed. How do I fix this dilemma? With time. Yep, time. And this is the message for this video. Keep the intensity the same, just adjust the time. Keeping the intensity the same guarantees the most amount of the cells possible will get the light. Adjusting the time ensures all cells receiving the light will get the benefit for as long as needed and not more. So the takeaway here is this. Wavelength controls the depth that the light travels. Intensity controls how many cells will get the light, and time controls the therapeutic benefit of that light to the cell's ATP production process. So there you have it. Catch me on my next video where I dive deep into the pulsing and wavelengths, rounding out the topics needed to buy or build the best red light therapy device out there. Until the next time, get out there and get some red light. Mother Nature gives it for free.